Oh, hello, vatos. It's El Jefe coming to you. Had a buddy lives out in Colorado. He calls me El Mero Mero, which means like the big boss. I don't know any Spanish hardly. Not really any. None of you know what Baudelarization is. It's back in the puritanical days. They took out, the explicative bits out of Shakespeare, and of course, it just made Shakespeare pretty awful. There's not that much in Shakespeare actually that needs to be removed, but it's called Baudelarization. I actually use this as a teaching tool, as an ancient Pali translator, because there's extremely few people in this world that it's an ancient dead language. That those yellow robe guys in Southeast Asia, in their translations, which were always wrong and heavily jaded, and look at what they would leave out or cover up. It kind of tells you who they are. A true detective is one that listens less to what like a criminal is saying, rather than the way they say it, and more specifically, what it is they're avoiding of saying. You look for the gaps. Instead of looking for the water, you're looking for the vortexes where the water is not. These holes. Those are incredibly important points. And the Baudelarization of and also too, and I'm not interested in this being a current event type of video, because it's not, but it's something everybody needs to pay attention to, especially those people that want power over you and me and everybody else. Is what are these people afraid of? What is it they don't want to discuss? And it's always the same thing, and it always paints a picture of tyranny and their desire for power over others. So this is a short little video, at least I hope so, about what these people are afraid of. And maybe you could enlighten me onto a few more things. I obviously left out some important ones possibly, but I've thought of the main ones here. But you might be an important one that I've left out that you could point up to. By the way, I didn't know that the National Education Association is the largest union, socialism, the largest, the largest union in the United. I've spoken endlessly about public schools and how fundamentally corrupt and corrupting that they are. And every parent, by the way, that I've talked to has pulled their kids out of public school, and they're doing at-home schooling, which is an incredibly good idea. They've not been discussing, they had a meeting, I forget what the name of the meeting is, of the National Education Association. And their whole goal is to break up the family union. I know they've been working on that unit, working on that now for decades, but they've really brought it into high gear. Anyway, at their meeting, which was televised on some abstract channel that nobody watches, of course, is they didn't discuss anything. There was not even one word mentioned about educate. This is the National Education Teachers Union, which, by the way, is like the most evil word in the world to me, like the union. Союз нерешимый. There's that third S in the SSSR, which in English is USSR, is union. Союз Советских Социалистических Республик. The union. Sorry, I'm not a big fan of union. Nothing that these people were talking about had anything to do with educating kids. What if they had like a pilots union meeting and discussions about flying or flying parameters or how to fly better were never discussed? I mean, doesn't it seem extremely odd to you that these people don't care? They were talking about not using the word mother anymore. The whole thing is about breaking up the family. Why are so many titanic waves of parents, and I wished I had kids, I don't have kids, they're pulling their kids out of school. They don't want them brainwashed. These are their kids, not the NEA or the teachers. These are the parents' kids. It is their property. In every way, shape, or form, it is theirs. It is their children. There have been videos for the past few years where these teachers are actually talking about, these are our children. It's like, no, they ain't your children, girlfriend. They're not. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of people knowing if you're not interested in trying to teach kids What are you? I mean, doesn't that besmack of pure evil? I passed by nearly every day now this new hospital. It's about 5 miles this way. It's super huge. It's a mega million-dollar complex. I know ones are going up like it all over the United States. And I, had an epiphany of what it obviously is. Like when McDonald's started, they put a McDonald's here, McDonald's there, blah, blah, blah. It was all about making money and selling burgers to you. You set up your own franchise, McDonald's franchise. You pay us for the burgers and fries or whatever. We ship them to you frozen every day, and you feed the people this horrible food. And what these are, they're franchise outlets for the pharmaceutical companies. Every hospital needs to be looked at as it truly is. It's a franchise outlet, like a McDonald's, for the pharmaceutical companies. It's not about making you... Now, if you show up with a broken leg, get your leg set, fine. Not saying they can't... You show up, you got a wound from a lion bit you or something, they'll stitch you up, obviously. I'm not against that part of it, obviously. But 95% of what they do there is to feed the pharmaceutical company. It's a money-making, they charge you hospital bills. People are seeing $100 for an aspirin or a Tylenol. It's a pharmaceutical outlet. It's a franchise. That's all it is. It's not about making people well. Like a fat person like me, I know I'm, fat, overweight. If I showed up to any hospital in the United States, this is true. And one doctor might do it, but 99% of them will not. They say, instead of telling me like, hey, you're fat, go exercise, eat less. That's the answer right there. Like, no, what you need to do is you need to put you on like gabapentin and there's the other stuff. I don't want to name the pharmaceutical. It's been around for decades. Like, oh, this will lower your blood sugar, and you take this pill to fix that problem, and when you get that problem, we'll give you another pill. That's not the answer. So what they're afraid of is a coherent family unit, you being sick in perpetuity from cradle to grave. Sick, depressed, anxious, whatever. They're terribly, I said terribly. I didn't get enough sleep last night. As you can see the bags under my eyes, I was working to 5 a.m. They're afraid of food independence. I've been talking endlessly about what's going on in Denmark. I'm not interested in discussing current affairs. This video is not for that. But they are afraid of your own food independence. You're supposed to work your butt off so you can buy cheap plastic junk that self-destructs, so you keep working and working. Property taxes, house insurance, car insurance, regular taxes, sales tax, on and on and on. It's just the systems of control built upon systems of control. So they're afraid of your food independence. Somebody that lives totally off of their garden, I mean, that's a problem for them. What's even more of a problem, as being shown in Denmark and other places, is not only you're feeding yourself off your own garden, but you're feeding other people. And then you have an income. And an income that's not necessarily traceable. Being mobile, well, you control the energy. That really solves that problem right there. Total control over the energy. They don't want you to be mobile. What they really don't like is for you not to have a permanent address. They want to know where you physically are at all times. If they can't, don't have a physical home that's never moves, a non-moving home, like most homes, right? They track you with your cell phone. They want to know where you are. You're their little children, and you shall not stray. They don't want you or me being mobile. So if you are mobile, we'll fix that problem too. We'll make energy prices so high, you can't really go anywhere. Income is a nasty word. Once you have income, then of course it has to be reported to the government. They don't want you actually making money to support yourself and your family. They're afraid of that. They want you to make income, but as long as it's for them. What's the old saying? It says, never steal because the government hates competition. This is so true. They are afraid big time. And I'm not a part of any group or, outfit or any sort of clique or, They're afraid of groups and they're afraid of unity. One thing that's been worked on now for the past few years, the entire world over, is to isolate everybody. And even if you're amongst the public and you're wearing a face diaper, and if you're talking to somebody else, they can't hear you. Say, what did you say? Don't you see that for what it is? Isolation? All these people that have been going crazy, losing their mind, doing all sorts, and it's only going to escalate. They've been isolated too long. These are people that are not used to it. I, however, am used to it. Unfortunately, I'm extremely used to it. We're trying to isolate everybody, people that are really, really not used to isolation. They're big time afraid of groups and unity. I'll talk for the United States here, but I mean, this is an issue. Every tyrant throughout history is afraid people want power over you. They're afraid of one thing basically above all else. I don't care what you think about this one way or the other. You're wrong and I'm right. What these people have in common, Herr Schicklgruber, Pol Pot, Stalin, Mao Tse, is they did not want the people having thundersticks. I'll let you guess what thundersticks is. Pew, pew, pew. Because that means independence. Freedom from tyranny. I roll my eyes every time a European talks about, oh, you crazy Americans, you're addicted to thundersticks. No, what we're addicted to is a fundamental loathing for tyranny. Don't you Europeans realize what Pol Pot and Schicklgruber and Stalin and Mao had in common? First thing they wanted to do is seize all the thundersticks. Yeah, I know. Thundersticks, banks, whatever. They seized it all from the citizens. They did not want that. How dare you let the citizens have control over their own destiny? Law-abiding citizens, have the right to have the freedom and want freedom from tyranny for their own family and friends and children. They hate that. They hate whatever your thoughts about that are. I mean, I hate to say this, but I don't care because I am right. There's no denying it. If you think you're going to deny it, you'd be wrong. Look what happened to the Australians. They gave them up. Look what the guy up in maple syrup land, north of the United States, has been talking about. It's just pure tyranny. Klaus Schwab, I watched the video, it's not doctored. I've not seen it before. Klaus Schwab was talking so highly of what's his face up there in maple syrup land being part of his WEF. Well, isn't that nice? He's all on board with that. And I'm not just speaking to Europeans, but mostly to the Europeans and Americans. Don't you realize that this is exactly what tyrants want? They want you to be a declawed, neutered cat. Every tyrant on earth, and you know this is true, you can't deny it. It's 100% undeniable. Every evil tyrant wants you to be a neutered, declawed cat. Meow. You sit there eating bonbons. You wake up, go lap out of your water bowl every few hours. And I don't have a cat, by the way. But I know this is what neutered, declawed cats do. They've lost any desire to be independent. They've lost the motive, and they've lost the wherewithal to be self-governing. Yeah? It's like, I'm going to obey the laws, not hurt anybody, but I have control over my own future! My own future, not yours! That's not your wherewithal to control my future. It's mine! The reason why it's mine is because millions of my forefathers, many, many millions, fellow Americans died for that right. I don't care what you think about it. They did die for that right, and it's mine. And I'm not giving it up. I obey the law. I pay my taxes. I don't harm anybody. I'm not doing anything wrong in life. But that is my prerogative, and it was given to me by millions and millions and countless millions of people that died for my rights on that front. Can't you see that that's what tyrants want? Please let me repeat it again. Tyrants want you to be a neutered cat that's been declawed and defanged. How do you defang a cat? Don't they still need teeth? How do you defang a cat? Do you just like, what, razor down their like sharp teeth? Not being a cat person, I don't know this. I know about the neutering and the spay and neuter and the declawing. But don't you defang a cat? But what are they? I don't know what they do. Maybe they file down their sharp teeth. You'll have to tell me. I don't know about cats that much. But that's what every tyrant wants. You have to ask yourself, just like Baudelarization, what are these people afraid of? Be independent. Don't take out loans. By the way, banks do not lend money. I sure did. I got a loan from the bank. They gave me a bunch of money. I got a 20-year payment plan. Banks don't loan money. They loan debt. Let me repeat that again because it's so important. Banks don't loan money. They loan debt. Don't take out loans. Don't be dependent upon medical. I haven't had health insurance in over like 15 years. Is that a good thing? Not really. But I'm definitely not dependent upon, hospitals and doctors. I may break my leg, might have to pay through the nose to fix my broken leg if I break it in the near future, something like that. Fine. Humanity has gotten by without health insurance for millions of years. Yeah? It's a control system. They want you to be dependent. I work my butt off 4 jobs 7 days a week. I can barely afford to pay all the bills that I have. House insurance, car insurance, property taxes, gas, water, electric, phone, cables. Can't afford it. I don't know how other people do. Don't take out loans. Don't be dependent upon medical. I get along fine with the cops, but don't rely on the police. Don't rely on them. By the way, cops don't know the law. They're the executive wing of government. They don't know the law. Cops don't know anything about the law. They know next to nothing about the law. I've caught cops so foolishly ignorant of the law, it just makes you want to barf right on the spot. They don't know the law. Don't rely on cops. Here's something else. I have a recorder here. I got a recorder everywhere. If you stand in the center of truth and let the world burn around you, because that's exactly what the world does. It burns just like this around you. Stand in the center of truth and let it burn around you. You're always in the right. Even if something bad happens to you, you're always in the right. Record everything. I had the wherewithal to need to record something today on a phone call. Yeah, I'm going to play it back for the appropriate. Record everything. Everybody should have a personal... Record everything. Because then it eliminates he said, she said. It's like, here's the proof. Shut up. It's great when you could do that. Well, I don't believe it. It's her story versus your story. No, here's the recording. Let me play it for you. Shut up. It's over with. Oh, well, you're right. There you go. It's pretty obvious what's being said there. Record everything. Trust no one. I hate to say that. I like to be a trusting soul. But trust nobody. Record everything. Of course, check your local state laws about recording laws. Not every state has one-party recording consent. I know, blah, blah, blah. Legalese right there, right? Don't be dependent upon medical. Be independent as you can. Do not take out money. Don't take out loans. Take out money meaning take out loans. I need money. Well, if you can't afford it, then save for it. But don't take out loans. By the way, credit card debt is unsecured debt. Look up what unsecured debt is. I'm going to edit that out of this video. Seriously, look up unsecured debt. Surprised a lot of people don't know what unsecured debt is, so. Always take the most evil, tyrannical, power-hungry people on this earth and look exactly what it is they don't want you to have or what they're afraid of. That tells you everything. You can set your watch by what you should do and what you should have based upon what evil people are afraid of and don't want you to have. Find the evil entities, find out what they don't want you to have and what they're afraid of. There's your answer. It always has been, and it always will be. So let it be written. So let it be done. Oh, I should have gone to bed before 5 a.m. last night. Or was it 4 a.m.? It was one of those two. Thanks for watching. Lux Everetas.